Hello, thank you for joining me today. You're watching Esther from Stampin' Star Creations. These are the colours I'm hoping to use today in our card. We've got Melon Mambo, Early Espresso, Pool Party, Garden Green and Smoky Slate. And I'm using the Waterfront and the Coloful Seasons stamp set. The inspiration behind this card was to try and create a Chinese inspired watercolour card. I'm using some shimmery white cardstock which has got a slight shimmer to it. It's great for doing watercolour, and I found it's the best paper to use for this stamp set for me, so that you've got more control without the water saturating into the watercolour paper. So we're going to lay down the background first and create some mountains. And for this I'm going to use Smoky Slate and the Garden Green, and we're going to do a bit of a rock and roll effect. So I'm going to stamp it into the Smoky Slate, but I just want the edge of my mountain. So I'm going to tilt the stamp to just try and get the edge of that, so that's ready. Now I found it easier to lay down the water as I went, so lay it down where you need it at the time, rather than, I think I put a little bit too much there, just take some off. Lay down as you go. So I'm just going to draw this down and down again. And then I'm just going to, excuse me, dry that off and then go in again with the Smoky Slate, and then just getting the very edge of the mountain into the stamp set. Then if you find that you need to put some more water on top, you can lay down the water afterwards. So I do the background first and then work on the foreground afterwards. And you can use your kitchen towel just to dab up any excess water. Now I'm going to use the longest stamp, this one here, to create some mountains in the background. I'll go in first with the Smoky Slate. I forgot to lay down my water, didn't I? Lay down the water first and then add to it, that's the idea. So I'm just going to go back in there. And you can still use the ink that's on the pad, so keep tap on this stamp rather, so you keep tapping away, because there'll be some on there, some ink still left on your stamp. And I'm going to go in with some Garden Green, just to highlight those mountains. Now this may look like a hot mess at the moment, but when it dries it does change it into more of a landscape look. So you've got to just trust in your artistic abilities, or trust the stamps to do what they're made to do. I'm just going to add some more water in there. You don't want too sharper lines, you want the colours to blend in. Okay, I'm also going to use this same stamp here. We're just going to create some misty clouds, and we're going to use Pool Party for that. Lay down the water first, I nearly forgot. It's just a couple there coming out where the mountains are. Actually, with my original one, I did use the zigzag one. I forgot. I'm trying to go by a picture, so it's difficult to remember what I did. But each card's going to be different, so. And then again, coming back with this stamp set here. Just going to wipe it off with some water quickly. I'm going to go back in with our Smoky Slate to create some foreground, some mountains in the foreground. This is so much fun because it is like you are creating scenery and a work of art with this stamp set. Now I'm just going to dry this off with my heat tool before we lay on the blossom at the front. Now you will get some crinkling on your paper, but don't worry too much about that. Some glue will fix that. I'm not happy with the mountain, so I'm just going to keep adding some more grey to that, using part of this mountain stamp. Again, just going to go in with some water first. Try and remember my rule of water first. Just dab a little bit off, just to fill in that. Oh, that's better. Yep. Just needed a little bit of detail. So just taking that side of the mountain to add some colour in. Just using the water brush to blend that in. And again, I'm just going to go in, this time I'm not going to wet this, I'm just going to go in and add some more misty clouds across it. Right, I've done a boo-boo there, so I'm just going to go over with my Aqua pen. Okay, the next process, next part we're going to do is use the Coloful Seasons. So I'm using both the branches and the small blossom for this, so I'm just going to transfer my blocks. So for this we want more of a solid image, so we're not going to use the Aqua pen. We're going to create branches in the foreground. This is with Early Espresso. And then we're also going to use the smaller branches to add a little bit more detail. And when you're happy with that, I'm going to go in with, actually I've just added a colour last minute, so I'm going to add Flirty Flamingo first to lay down some background colour, and stamping a couple of times with that. Before then going in with the Melon Mambo. This just gives a bit of depth of colour. I like the brightness of the Melon Mambo, but also the subtleness of the Flirty Flamingo. Okay, it's taking shape. I think I'm just going to do a little bit more at the front here. So you can just keep adding to your picture and until you're completely happy with it. I'm going to add just another misty cloud at the front here. There, I think I'm happy with that. So I hope you've enjoyed this Chinese watercolour inspired card. I'm going to mount this onto some black cardstock, and this just helps the colours to pop. So do subscribe to my channel for further videos, and comment below, let me know how you got on with this video, and give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Thanks very much.